who's going to have his own backyard pretty soon in just a few weeks? Do you think he will go from a gangsta to a hunter? I think so. I couldn't help myself. I walked by these chairs and I started to cry a little bit. I've been walking by chairs like this for over 10 years, dreaming of maybe someday I'd have a backyard where I could put them. And now my dreams come true. No more than 30 minutes per bath, please. I think that would work out just fine for Desi. Everybody, thank you so much for coming back today and seeing me and Desi. I hope you had a good, safe week, and I wanted to thank you so much for all your love and support last week when I talked about closing on my house and the building being right next to my grandfather's field of dreams. The love that you showed me and the support, it just gave me such confidence when I got up that morning, and I felt a little scared, and I drove there and I thought about you. After I signed everything went so beautiful, and after I signed the papers, I went outside, I took a breath, and I looked at the lights that were over that baseball field, and I said a prayer, and I swear I heard a voice that said, "You did good, kid. You did good." As the years have gone on with me being here on YouTube, our male audience keeps getting a little bit bigger. Not a lot, but we're up to 10%. How about that? Well, last week I got a question from the nicest man, and he said, "What do you want?" He said, "I joined a dating site and I'm having a wonderful time, and I'm going out on all these wonderful first dates with all these lovely mature women, and I never get a second date, or I never get a third date. What am I doing wrong? What do you women want?" And I thought, okay, let's tell him. I can't speak for anybody else but myself, but I want to express to you that at the age I'm at now, there are a few things I want, and I want to go over that, and I want to talk about it. And then maybe all of us can kind of chime in and say, okay, this is why you're not getting a second date, maybe? Why do you suppose as human beings we just love impressions of things? If it looks like a photograph, we don't call that art. But if it's just a wisp of an impression, we love it. When I was younger, I remember dating a nice man who halfway through dinner said, "Let's fly to Chicago tonight and let's have a ball for the weekend." Or I remember on a whim, Bill and I just went to Madison, Wisconsin for a concert. I mean, I was very spontaneous. It was great. But I'm not that way now. I love security. I love knowing that what I have on Wednesday, I'll have on Friday. That's just the way I am. I think as I have aged, I've seen so many changes. Sometimes I barely recognize my own city here that I've lived in all my life. The skyline is different. The roads are different. They've even renamed some roads. So when a man presents himself with some type of grounded life, I find that very attractive. But I also find that attractive in all kinds of people, not just somebody I might be dating. When I make a new friend if they seem to have a very stable, non-dramatic life, it's very comforting to me. I know maybe this sounds sort of boring, but security as I have grown older, to know for a fact that I'm doing the very best I can to make things calm and happy. Yeah, I love that.
A grill. All things family, all things happy. Celebrations, birthdays, graduations. Every time I would walk by a grill, I'd cry. I would feel such amazing emptiness. And now, perhaps I'll buy a grill.
I've learned a lot of lessons in my life, but the one lesson that I truly learned the hard way was how important it is to stay connected, to stay connected with family and friends and activities, to have the most full life that you can possibly have, no matter how old you are. And this really made an impression on me when the pandemic started. And I remember I was moving and I was cut off from family and friends. And I went into Target, which is usually my little happy place, right? You get the popcorn and you go look at the jewelry and have a fun time. And I walked in and there was hardly anybody in there. And the people that were in there had masks on. I finally realized that I had lost all connection with almost everything that I knew where I shopped. My new neighbors, they weren't talking. They weren't coming out of their apartments. I could come here and I could talk to you. And that was my salvation. But I learned how damaging that was for my health and for my mental health to be cut off from everything. And it made such a huge impression that no matter what, now everybody's out and about having a wonderful time this spring, and that's great. But when you're older, things change and you do lose friends, and maybe your family moves away, this or that. Maybe you're not working anymore, but you have to be proactive to make sure that those connections are vital and strong, because they are so important to your happiness. This is so hard for me when I think about calling an old friend and saying, hey, you want to have coffee today at 2? That's hard for me. I think I have a little bit of social anxiety. I'm not sure, but there's always kind of a funny feeling, butterflies in my stomach when I do that. But then we meet and I'm so darn happy, and I know that's a kind of a silly example, but I've had to be so proactive in making new friends because I've lost so many friends over the years. If I'm meeting someone and they talk a lot about, well, let's not go visit your family, or let's not go visit my family, or let's not have a double date, let's just the two of us all the time. That's a signal to me that there might not be a lot of outside connection to the world if I'm going to be dating that person. Can you imagine telling a tree in the dead of winter that everything is going to be okay? Just wait a few months and spring will come and you'll come to life once again. Once I started looking at my life like a winter tree, somehow I found comfort in that. Why are you barking? I'm trying to film a video. Oh, listen to all those doggies bark out there. Oh my goodness, something's going on. I guess I can't film for a while. Now, what do you think women want, Desi? What do you think that is? This man who asked me this question about what women want, I just thought that was so fascinating. And I thought a lot about what would make me fall in love with someone. Fall in love with a friend or fall in love with a man romantically. Is there one thing that they possess that I would find so beautifully attractive? And I came up with something. Respect. If I can respect them, I can fall in love with them. There's something about admiring someone and respecting them and the choices that they make, the way they speak, the way they treat you, and the way they talk about others in their lives. When you respect someone, it's like magic, isn't it? There's so few misunderstandings because you know their heart, you respect them. And I'll give you sort of an example of what I'm talking about. I met someone a few years ago, and I adored him. He was so dang charming, and we had so much fun. And we'd been going out, I don't know, probably a month, so we probably had maybe 6 or 7 dates. Well, all of a sudden one night he had maybe one too many drinks, and he started talking about his ex-wife. And the things he said about her, they were disgraceful. They were intimate. They were things I should never know. And then he looked at me and he said, but I really got her in the divorce. I hid a lot of money and I really screwed her over. Whew. Wow. Deal killer. I thought to myself, that woman, that ex-wife, no matter what she did, that could be me. That could be me. And I lost every ounce of respect for this man that I had built up in those 6 weeks that we were dating. That's what I'm talking about, respect. A woman has to not only trust you, not only like you, she has to respect you. It didn't take much as a kid to please me. I don't know how I got so far away from the simple things. It's the simple pleasures that I think matter so much, and especially as we get older. We're slowed down a little bit in a good way, and we notice things that maybe we didn't notice before. We drink in these simple pleasures, and it's so beautiful. It's like being in love all the time. When I was 38 years old, I was sitting in my apartment, and the light was coming in, and it was so beautiful. And I had just fallen madly in love with a man named Bill. Now, I thought I had been in love before, but oh, no, not like this. I looked out the window, and the leaves on the trees never looked so green. The sky never looked so blue. The strawberries that I was having for breakfast, they looked so beautiful, like a work of art, and shades of red and green, and I could go on, but it was the simple pleasures that I was noticing because I was so in love. All my senses were just on fire. And that's how I think about growing older. I'm 68 now, and all of a sudden I look up at the sky and I think, I've never seen the sky so blue. It's like I'm walking around in love all the time, except I'm not. Am I? I don't think so. But it's the simple things. The simple way someone says hello, or I love you, or do you have any blueberry muffins? I don't know. One of the reasons I love being around my friend Hal is he has this childlike quality where he truly enjoys the little things with me. And we have lots of stories and memories that we share. And I just love him dearly for that. And with my grandchildren, they love the little things, the little drawing on the sidewalk, the song that they just learned, the color of Grandma's eyes, the little things. When we're all speeded up, life can be a blur. But when we're slowed down, it can be so beautiful. Like I said, we're walking around in love, and we didn't even know it. So what do women want? What do I want? Well, I'm lucky enough, I get to talk to so many women every single week from all around the world. And you tell me a lot about your life, and you tell me about the things that you truly desire and what you want. And yes, you want love in your life, but you do not want that love to be your whole life. You want to be independent. You don't want to have a life of uncertainty and drama. You want peace. You don't want to be angry. You don't want to be fighting. Perhaps there are some fights that we will still fight as women, but there are other times where the fight we may hand off to the younger generation. This is our time. This is a very special time of learning and growing. And when a man says to us, hey, forget all that, I'm going to take care of you. We're just going to go off and we're going to go fishing for the next 3 years. Yeah, okay, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with going fishing with your man, but there's nothing wrong with him supporting your life also and your identity. We fought really hard to still be standing at 70 years old, and nobody and nothing is going to take that away from us. So, we women simply want everything because we earned it. One of my very favorite things that I get to do is read your comments every week. And I wanted to share with you real quick, a beautiful sister of ours, Kathy, she left a comment last week and she was talking about how something sad or bad led to something wonderful. And a few years ago, she lost her ability to walk. And Kathy is 71 years old. And she thought her life was over. She was crushed. And her daughter came to her with this huge kit of paints and pencils and drawing paper and canvases. I mean, the works. And she got angry at her daughter and said, "Well, why did you bring me this? I haven't drawn in 30 years. And her daughter said, "That was your major in college. You were a wonderful artist." And she said, "Well, I don't have time to pick that up again." And her daughter said, "Really? Where are you going?" Tough love. Well, Kathy did. She picked up the drawing paper and the pencils, and she found such beautiful peace in her new drawings at 71. And she is going to have her first gallery showing next week. So here we go. Something that was so tragic and sad turned into something that Kathy said for the first time she feels happy. Now that's saying a lot. And I'm so glad she shared that with us, because I know so many of us we worry about things. We worry about our health, or we worry about this or that, and we need not worry. For every window that closes, it really is true. Another door does open for us. Yeah. Hey everybody, thank you so much for hanging out with us today. I loved every second of it. I always do. And would you let me know the next 3-4 weeks, Desi and I are going to be packing and on the road. We're going to be moving, and there's probably not going to be any time for a lot of big videos. Would you like us to just wait and come back with a big reveal? Or would you like us to check in, a couple times a week, like, hey, it's Sue and Desi and we're on the road, or we're packing, or I don't know, or maybe that would just be too boring. Let me know if you want to keep tabs on us. I'm going to miss you something just terrible if I have to be gone for 3 weeks. Oh dear. Please have yourself a wonderful, safe, brand new week. And when you're done with your week, come back and see me and Desi, okay? All right. It's a deal. We'll be somewhere. We love you.